Hey everyone, Giraffe, Pelly and me. I'm up to page 16. So we just finished page 15, in which the pelican explained how he has a long beak at the top and then this bit that hangs under, which has to have a scientific name, I'm sure. But then the beak at the top retracts down his throat. Interesting, right? He can scoop up water. So remember Billy, I think the boy's name is Billy. He has to climb inside. It is Billy. He has to climb inside the pelican's beak. And he's a little bit anxious about that, but he has to trust his new friend. "Stop showing off down there," shouted Monkey from the upstairs window. "Hurry up and bring that small person up to us. Giraffe is waiting." I climbed into the big orange beak, and with a swish of wings, the pelican carried me back to his perch on the windowsill. Windowsill is the ledge outside a window. The giraffe looked out of her window and looked at me and said, "How do you do? What is your name?" "Billy," I told her. "Well, Billy," she said, "we need your help, and we need it fast. We must have some windows to clean." Wonder how Billy can help. "We've spent every penny of our money." Penny is English cents. We have cents, they have pennies. "We've spent every penny we had on buying this house, and we've got to earn some more money really quickly. Pelly is starving, Monkey is famished, and I am perishing with hunger." Well, instead of saying we're all hungry, he used some really good words. Monkey is famished. That also means super hungry. And Pelly is starving. The monkey needs nuts, and I'm even more difficult to feed. I am a Geranius giraffe, and Geranius giraffe cannot eat anything except the pink and purple flowers of the tinkle tinkle tree. Maybe some of you will draw for my wall, because I love putting your artwork on my wall, some imaginary plant called the tinkle tinkle tree, and it has pink and purple flowers. Some of you might even make them out of origami for me. Remember, this giraffe can only eat from the tinkle tinkle tree, which is made up and imaginary by the author, Roald Dahl. He's good at using his imagination. But those, as I am sure you know, are hard to find and expensive to buy. The pelican cried out, "Right now I am so hungry I could eat a stale sardine," like a yucky fish. "Has anyone seen a stale sardine or a bucket of rotten cod? I'd like to eat the lot upon the spot. I'm such a hungry bod." Oh, poetry. A sod, cod, bod. Every time the pelican spoke, the beak I was standing in jiggled madly up and down. And the more excited the pelican got, the more jiggly I got. I forgot he was in there. Monkey said, "What Pelly's really crazy about is salmon." I like salmon. "Yes, yes," cried Pelly, "salmon, glorious salmon. I dream of it all day long, but I never get any." "And I dream of walnuts," shouted the monkey. "A fresh from a tree, scrumptiously gallumptious, so flavory and savory, so sweet to eat, that it makes me all wobbly just thinking about it." So they're all talking about their favorite foods. You could add that to your drawing of the characters, and you could add either words or drawings. Monkey likes walnuts. Some of you know what walnuts are. They're in a round shell, and it's really hard to crack them open, and there's a nut inside. I really like walnuts. And remember, Pelly likes salmon the best. But they're both super hungry. But listen to what happens next. At exactly that moment, a huge white Rolls-Royce fancy car pulls up right below us. And a chauffeur in a blue and gold uniform got out. A chauffeur is a special driver that you have, like a taxi driver, but it's your own driver. You like a helper, but a driver. Imagine having your own driver. The chauffeur was carrying an envelope in one gloved hand. He had a glove on his hand. He's so fancy. Good heavens, I whispered. That down there is the Duke of Hampshire's car. Now a duke is kind of like a king or a queen. Not quite, but pretty fancy. That is the Duke of Hampshire's car. Ha! I said the Duke of Hamsters. No, the Duke of Hamsters. The Duke of a place in England called Hampshire. Who is he? Asked the giraffe. He's the richest man in England, I said. And the chauffeur knocked at the door of the grubber. Remember, the grubber is their sweet shop that they just bought, but they haven't got enough money to do anything with it. They want to clean people's windows. He looked up and saw us. He saw the giraffe. Who else did he see? He saw the giraffe, Pelly, the monkey, and me all staring down at him from above. But not a muscle moved in his face. Not an eyebrow moved. You think chauffeurs of very rich men are never surprised by anything they see. The chauffeur said, His Grace the Duke of Hampshire, I keep saying Hampshire, has instructed me to deliver this envelope to the Ladderless Window Cleaning Company. That's us, cried Monkey. And Giraffe said, Be so good as to open the envelope and please read us the letter. The chauffeur unfolded the letter and began to read. Dear Sirs, I saw your notice as I drove by this morning, and I have been looking for a good window cleaner for 50 years, but I have not found one yet. My house has 670 windows. Think about that, 670 windows. Oh, 677 windows, not counting the greenhouse, and all of them are filthy. Kindly come and see me as soon as possible. Yours truly, Hampshire. That, added the chauffeur in a voice filled with awe and respect, was written by His Grace the Duke of Hampshire. He wrote it himself. The giraffe said to the chauffeur, Please tell him, His Grace the Duke, that we will be with him as soon as possible. The chauffeur touched his cap and got back in his fancy car, the Rolls-Royce. Whoopee! Shouted Monkey. Fantastic! Cried Pelican. That must be the best window cleaning job in the world. Billy, said the giraffe, what is the house called and how do we get there? It's called Hampshire House, I said, and it's just over that hill. I'll show you the way. We're off, cried Monkey. We're off to see the Duke. The giraffe stooped low and went out through the tall door. Monkey, of course, jumped off the windowsill onto the giraffe's back, and Pelican, with me still in his beak, hanging on for dear life and terrified, flew across and perched on the very top of Giraffe's head. And away we went. Billy looks quite happy there. I think he's feeling more and more confident and trusting. Oh, this is fancy. How many windows do you remember? Tell your neighbor how many windows. I think the Duke of Hampstead's house has a lot of windows. It wasn't long before we came to the gates of Hampshire House. And as the giraffe moved slowly up the wide driveway, we all began to feel a little bit nervous. "What's he like?" the giraffe asked me. "Don't know," I said, "but he's very famous and he's very rich. People say he has 25 gardeners just looking after his flowers." 25 gardeners. Gardeners are people. That would be a cool job. Imagine being all day getting to garden and plant flowers and keep them looking good. Soon the huge house itself came into view, and what a house it was. It was like a palace. It was bigger than a palace. Look at this, it even has a bit at the top here. I wonder what that's called, that round bit. A lot of windows. "Just look at those windows," cried Monkey. "They'll keep us going forever." Then suddenly we heard a man's voice a short distance away to the right. "I want those big black ones on the top of the tree," the man was shouting. "Get me the big black ones on top of the tree." We peered around the bushes and saw an oldish man with an immense white moustache standing under a tall cherry tree and pointing his walking stick in the air. He's pointing it to another man who's probably the gardener, who was up a ladder. "Get me those big black juicy ones right at the top, please," the old man was shouting. "I can't reach them, Your Grace." Turn and tell your neighbor who can help. "The ladder isn't long enough." "Damnation!" cried the Duke. "I was so looking forward to eating those big ones." Okay, we're going to stop there because I want you to take your notebooks and I want you to add, what do you think is going to happen immediately? Listen carefully, don't start talking. Firstly, what do you think is going to happen in the next 5 minutes? In their time, not in the book, but in their time. What's the first thing that's going to happen? And then after that happens, I think you know what's going to happen, who's going to help him. So who's going to help him, what's going to happen. And then after that, what's going to happen? Are they just going to go home? Or what's going to happen, okay? So you get to draw and add speech bubbles and labels, and you can even talk to your friends right now before you start. What do you think is going to happen?